Okay, so hi all, back to BRR Knowledge Center. And this session, so we'll see the demonstration part of how to create a singleton class in C Sharp, then how you are going to invoke a singleton a method to do singleton operations. So let me quickly open my Visual Studio or Visual Studio Coder, where I'm going to demonstrate this singleton class creation. Let me open my Visual Studio here. I just already opened this console application. So I'm just removing this. I'll start creating my singleton class, public class singleton. Okay. So here the first step was creating a constructor of my singleton class. This is, and second thing is I need to create a variable to, uh, you know, uh, throw the instance outside of my singleton. Right. I just created uh, underscore instance, right? And then second thing is I need to have a method, a property method or a static method to return this instance outside of the singleton class. Hence I'm writing a property singles, then property of static, then have a get method inside of it, and in this inside of get method I'm having a check here, instance equal to null. So instance equal to new of singleton. Okay, instance. So this is my static method to return the instance. Okay, and I should have another method to do some singleton operations that also public. Public void do singleton operation. So here I'll write some console statement. Singleton class operation. So this is the basic structure. So of my singleton class. So what I did was this is the first step. That is creating a singleton private constructor. And this has a variable which I'm going to uh, define this as private because I need this variable instead of my singleton class. Private variable to hold the instance. And this is my static method or property method. So which can check my instance variable and create it and return the same instance back to calling area. And the next one is a method I need to have to do some singleton tasks so that I can understand my singleton is working properly. Now, after this, so what I'm going to do is at the top of it, so I will create instance of singleton equal to singleton of instance. Okay. So when I do this way, so the statement will execute because it was primary statement. Then it will go to singleton class, and this is the method property method we have defined instance, and it comes to here and it will check the variable whether it is null or not. So very first time it is null, hence it is just creating a instance for singleton and then return it. Again, when I create another instance called s2. So now what it will do is the first statement it is fine. When it comes to second statement, again it comes here and it will check for this variable. As it is a static variable, it holds the previous instantiation. So that is not an article nil, and then it will return as it is whatever it has. So when I compare it. Let us say like console dot right line of s1 equal to s2. If I say this, what it will come true because both instances are the same. Okay. After this, when I say console dot right line of s1 dot do a singleton operation, right? Mm, okay. S1 do's argument one cannot be converted by to bool. Yeah, that's okay. So load right line. Okay, this is something that is calling. So instead of this, let me return something. Return this variable. So return singleton class operation. This I'm declaring a string. Now singleton method calling. Okay. In a similar way, if I invoke it via the second instance of 2, it also does same thing. When I run this, I expected the output would be this is true because both instances are same, and these two lines of console.write line also give same output. So when I run this, so let's see like how it is processing your singleton class instantiation. The true has been returned. This is expected, and singleton method calling singleton class operation. So if you wanted to debug it, so and see like what is happening, it just run this. When I rerun this, the very first time it is coming here. This is the null very first time, and it is creating the singleton class and return. When it is coming to the second instance creation, it is already having an instance. It won't create, it will return the previously created instance. Okay, this is a simple singleton class creation. Okay, so similar way, if you wanted to keep methods or property methods, so what you have to do is you have to define it here as a variables. So suppose if I wanted to have variable public static int user id, okay, and also I wanted to have a format. So these two values I'm going to assign it here inside of a first instance. Okay, and then I'm going to use those variables across all the screens here. So here what I'm doing is user id is something 3387, and date format I'm assigning as like this. So you wanted to keep on use these two values across all pages. So if when it comes to say speed ordered, so if you wanted to use say the values between pages, you only have a mechanism called session or through query parameters you have to pass it. But again, when it comes to session, it is very huge button on the page load, since it is not advisable to use session concept. So instead of using session, if you can have a singleton class instance, then you can directly use singleton instance across all pages. If I make it as public these variables, so I can directly use these variables outside of my singleton class. So coming here and here, console dot write line of user ID s1 dot. Okay, singleton dot ID, and similar way you can access date format. So whatever values you wanted to you know share between different screens or different pages, the best and good idea was to use a singleton class, so that it will share the data between all the pages with a single instance. Okay, so this is what the singleton class is working by default, like it is sharing the data in across all the pages. So I'll not be creating every time instance, only creating one time instance and then using the stuff in all the pages. So the singleton class uses static property to return an instance of the class. It has a private parameters. So it restricts the creation of an object using a new keyword. So that's how it is working. When it comes to real life singleton class, so how it would be working. Let me erase all this stuff. I'm going to create a singleton class of vote machine where the voters are, registering their votes and then wanted to see like how many votes are registered. And if I can implement this using a singleton class, how it would be reflected. Okay, so some synchronous activity, I'm going to do it. So uh, uh, if you look at voter measure, like you want to take a user's vote on something, whereas in don't want to double counting and also missed any counting of the vote. So you can use the singleton pattern with vote class and make sure only one instance of the vote class is created, and then increase the vote count and then use that vote count, right? So let me create a singleton class for that and see like how it is working. So here I'm defining public class automation. Okay. This is my singleton class, and here definitely I'll be creating variables first. So private automation. This is my instance again, as we created earlier, and again I have a variable which is holding my total votes. Default is 0, and again I have a constructor of private. So and now I have a property method of static public to give instance outside to my singleton class. So again, I have a get. Instead of get, I'm going to, instance equal to null, instance equal to old machine. And inside of this, returning instance. Okay, can be used like this, or what did you say? Instance does not exist in the current context. Oh, public instance. Spelling mistake. Instance. Okay. Now what is the error? Is not null here. Okay. Let me assign something. Static field method. Let's create this as a static then. So once you create a method, you write a public method to register what? Register what? Okay. So that you'll have access this method outside. And here you will increase the vote. So which we have already variable one. And simply say console dot write line. So register what? And total votes. Okay. And once this is done, so I will have another method to get total votes, public int total votes and return votes. So this is my singleton class. So basically, I'm having automation singleton class here. So and I have variables to return instance and having all the total votes count. And I have a private constructor and I have a property method to return my instance and check the instance is available or not. So the registry vote method increases the vote count by one. So total votes property returns the total registered votes. Now on top of it, here how I'm writing is I'm just no creating instance of my vote machine like this way. In the same way, and I'm going to define instance again, instance. So now, so when I say register VM1 dot register vote, it will invoke my register vote method, right? And it will increase the total vote value. Now, first time it comes in here 0 plus 1, and second time it comes in, it will increase 2, and third time it will increase 3. So now after this, I'm going to print my total vote counts. So I think total vote count is read method. So when you run this, it will first come to here and it is going here and it will check whether instance is null, very first time it is null, and then it will create instance. When first time it is coming, this instance already created with the first instance line of statement, and it will return the previously created instance. And third statement again will execute same way. It will come here and it will check instance is null or not. It is not in null because already created. It will return the existing instance. And when I call this register vote, and even if it is a first instance, it is coming here and it will increase the total votes count and then it will print the vote and then coming back here. And again, when it is calling the second time, again coming here, it will increase this and this updated value gets printed. So when you run this and you will see like what is happening. So the first time register vote, when it is calling, the register vote is printed as one. This is the register vote true, and this is the register vote three. And total vote count is okay. And let me call this way. Let's do this. Yeah. If you look at here, so the vote machine singleton class will work perfectly in synchronous calls, where each user will register their vote one by one. So so in a real-time scenario, there might be a multiple users register their vote asynchronously, unknowingly. Let's see how the vote machine class behaves in parallel voting. So the demonstration tells about how it is working. Okay. So if you wanted to, check in a different way, like parallel way, like how it is working in the real life scenarios, like multi-threading environment. So we'll do another demonstration part here. Like, let me change this part. So I'm going to comment this. Now, let me create some numbers, random numbers, 0 to 10, and I'll use parallel dot for each of a number. So where virtual voter machine equal to voter machine dot instance, that means I wanted to create so those many instances here and those many register votes. So now if you print this total uh, count of the votes, voter machine dot instance dot total votes. I think you have to use with parentheses. So again, console dot. When you run this, so you'll see that 10 votes being created. 1, 1, 1, 1, 4, 5. What's happening? Range 0 to 10 numbers I, and here instance is calling, and here calling 1. Mhm. One time it is calling. Okay, that's fine. uh, Parallelly it is another time it is calling. So for each time, if you look at here, 10 parallel calls to the register vote here. If you look at here, all these calls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 calls. So it start from 0 and it is 11 calls, 3, 6, 11 something. So the output will depend on your local machine. The output may be different each time you run it. The output returns the wrong result in the multi-threaded calls. Let's see how to create a thread safe singleton class in the next session, and how it is working in the same way of uh, multi-threading concept. So this is something a demonstration, like uh, having a parallel execution of same function in the real life scenario. So this word machine class behaves in parallel voting. So in the multi-threading environment, it will invoke 10 times because I kept it as a 10, so 0 to 10. And in this each number, so each case, so there is 0 to 10. One time one is calling, and second time one also one is calling. So in any case, so when you're registering it, so you will have those many counts here. Okay, so let's see like how it is working in multi-threaded environment. So to avoid this, if we can have a multi-threaded concept here, and always what it is happening is it will not call duplicate entries. So how means, so we'll be having instance check here. So like thread safety singleton class. So let me change this singleton class through thread safety class so that you will have an idea. So the best and uh, good thing was this is a default singleton class which will behaves as soon as the call is coming in. It will increase the it will invoke the relevant method and it will increase the total value and then display it. Okay, but when it comes to multi-threaded, and if you wanted to correctly invoke the class, so you should implement thread safety singleton class. This is not a thread safety singleton class. So even though you get 10 results, 10 calls to the singleton class, but all the calls are duplicate calls, right? So if we have multi-threaded or other way around of the thread safety singleton class, then you will avoid these duplicate calls. If you look at here now, two times one is calling 3 4 5 6 7, and again another two is it is calling with one. So total count is seven now. Okay. Again, when I run it, because now it is 10. Again, when I run it, again, no count is 9. So it's not behaving as expected because I mentioned 10, which should be 10 calls always. So when it is invoking multiple times in the multi environment, it is behaving something differently. Okay. So let's see the thread safety singleton class in the next session so that you will have better understanding in that. So thanks for watching this. Thank you.